Welcome to the Just Josh podcast.
Who the fuck is this guy? Hey, who the fuck are you? Huh? Who the fuck are you?
This whole thing's a little weird.
Never you fear, laddie buck.
Yes. Thank you. Y'all saw that catch, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. We did like the 311 stick flip.
It's pretty cool.
That
They do that. The first time I saw them live, I didn't know they did it, so I was like hanging out backstage. I forget where it was, but it was actually I think it was in Texas at some like NASCAR field or whatever, and I didn't know that they did the whole like big drum circle thing at the end, and backstage were like all of these things, and I'm like, what? Like, why is all this here? And I was like, oh, they must have had like some orchestra, and this is like they just leave it here for storage. But like, no, it was all mic'd up and ready to go, and I'm like, that's weird. And then they did their thing, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're all very coordinated, but I've probably done it like thousands of times at this point.
Yeah. Talk a little bit more about how you got into music and kind of maybe your influences. I know you play music, but then also kind of the sound aspect and being a sound engineer in general, how you got into it.
Well, my parents, my sister, we've always loved music. My dad was into Kiss a lot. First concert I ever went to.
Real quick, I'm going to light your birthday candle.
Do it. First concert I ever went to was Kiss. It was November 18th, 1998, and I was 6 years old.
That's dope.
Yeah. Oh, it was cool. Like, I still remember, obviously I was 6 years old, so I don't remember it all, but it was very, like, it was awesome. I'm sure that was what really set me on this path, you know? So, growing up, we always listened to music, and we always went to shows. We went to so many shows when I was growing up.
That's awesome.
And my mom took me and my sister to Download Festival in California. We flew all the way out there. I was maybe...
I feel like that's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like, it originally was a UK thing, but they did like an America date in California. I think it was in Mountain View. And yeah, we saw him, Mindless Self-Indulgence, The Killers.
HYMM or whatever?
Yep. No. Just HIM. Vil Valor.
Him.
Bam Margera's friends or whatever that.
Yeah.
Everyone was big into them at the time, but yeah, so we always went to shows.
CKY was another one, right?
Yeah, CKY was one, 6ix9ine Eyes, all them. But yeah, so we always went to shows, and growing up, I played guitar and I played bass and I had drums, and I was always musically inclined. So naturally, when I was in high school, I joined a band. We were called Crimson Hills. We played around Baltimore, and we played Autobar. We played Wrecker when it was still around. But now it's coming back, apparently. But yeah, so we played Autobar, Wrecker, Ram's Head, and then I joined another band, Anoxy Sky, and that's where I met our friend Alex, who's tour manager for Ballyhoo.
Alex,
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then after that band, I joined another band called Hillsmere, and then I went to audio production school. I got a job at...
Did you go to Sheffield? Is that?
Yeah, I went to Sheffield. Okay. Yeah.
Is it worth it? I was thinking about going there and
dude,
just getting one.
I love Sheffield. It's totally worth it, but you gotta intern. You gotta be friends with them and
Well, I figured I know enough people like you and Mac that I could learn and not go there.
No, yeah, it's like, you know, because like I was Sheffield Institute. They have like AudioWorks program, so you learn how to record bands. You learn about mics, you learn about mixers, you learn a little bit of live sound, you learn Pro Tools, you learn Digital Performer.
Well, I know most of that. I just don't know the live sound.
And when I was in high school and I was recording my bands, I learned all of the concepts just by messing around with the programs and watching YouTube videos. But for me, the value in Sheffield was going there, meeting people, and them having like the
connections
the connections, the social network to, you know, kind of get my foot in the door at places. And so I went there. I loved it. Can't say enough about the good times. I did 2 programs there. I did the AudioWorks program. I did the TechWorks program, which is low voltage technician stuff. I learned how to like solder cables, and I could like fix an outlet, you know, like that type of stuff. yeah, so from there, I got a job at this record label in Baltimore called Man Ray Records.
Hmm.
And yeah, I engineered there for a long time. I was doing some producing with a couple artists. And then one day, like almost 2 years after I graduated, Sheffield actually called me and was like, hey, Ballyhoo, or honestly, before Ballyhoo, they hooked me up with a job with a regional cover band called the Amish Outlaws.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah, so that the Amish Outlaws was really...
They're funny.
Oh, they're great. I love them. They're all good dudes. That was like my first introduction into like the live sound crew world, and I did a bunch of shows for them, and it was all up and down anywhere from like New York to Southern Virginia, and that was a crazy job. And the guy I worked with, his name was Tom. He was a good dude, and Bob was their front of house, and yeah, I learned a lot from them. Just the basics of like, you know, here's your gear, build the show. The band's going to be here at this time. Everything's got to be perfect. When they get there, do the show late, stay out late, and drive it to the next show day or whatever the next day.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I worked with them for a while, and then Sheffield again gave me the word on Ballyhoo needing a guy, and my buddy Josh Scarf, who worked at Sheffield, he was like, yo, like, you really got to link with Ballyhoo. They're great.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're amazing.
And I had never heard of them
as far as crew too. Like, I learned so much.
Yeah, so like Josh was like, yeah, link up with Ballyhoo, and I'd never heard of them at the time. He was like, yeah, they're like a super popular band from Aberdeen, Maryland, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. So I did a weekend with them, and it worked out. But yeah, so I worked with Ballyhoo. I was their stage tech, and when I joined is right when they had in-ear, so I was doing a little bit of monitors for them, and then I became their front of house, and then that's when I was like, all right, I'm running this production ship now. I'm gonna get my boy Alex from one of the bands I was in, and then we were going, and then I got a job at Tribal Seeds, and I was doing monitors for them for about half a year, and then I went corporate for a little bit. I did that. Warped Tour 2014 with Pacific Dub. I tour managed them. That was great.
Dub.
Yeah. I love those guys. Yeah, so I did that.
Did they have that blue shirt with the skull and then the hand?
Yeah.
Is that them?
Yeah.
That's who it
and
is?
they also, their other famous shirt was the Pac-Man smoking a bong.
So I guess we did Reggae Rise Up Utah recently, or last year, maybe last summer. I can't believe it's been a year almost, because that was towards the end of last summer, I guess, in the fall. But we did that, and I meant to buy one, and I forgot. I'll have to go on their website. Yeah. No, they're great. Great dudes, a great band.
Yeah, and so I went corporate for a little bit, and then I came back. I linked back up with Pacific Dub, did summer tours, and then now I'm working for Pepper before COVID.
Which is awesome, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's pretty much the career path, basically.
And everything
me to this moment.
Once they get a vaccine, everything's kind of under control, and hopefully Americans, or we have like systems in place. You know, because tracking is really important, all the different things. Because people don't realize, like, these type of things, it's a pandemic, but if everyone did their small part, it can become extinct, because if no one's getting, you have to...
Yeah, like, it's awful. I feel bad for
it would take everyone being perfect, which is never going to happen.
I feel for everyone that's passed, but I think human, we'll figure it out, you know?
Yeah, when you look at the numbers without thinking about it, like, we look at 9/11 as being like the worst thing, because there was like that was only like
4,000 people,
maybe that. I was gonna say like 2,000-3,000, but that's
like
such
4,
a low number compared to 150,000 Americans now, and we just look at it different because we don't feel like it was a natural quote unquote thing. But the problem is, again, there's a lot of things that could have been done that could have at least lowered some of these.
Oh
numbers,
because I mean,
which weren't done, which is I think
like
the frustrating part.
Every couple years, there's some sort of sickness scare. You know, it was swine flu, bird flu.
But none of them have hit like this. Though.
Yeah, no, but also none of them. All the ones in the past, we didn't have, like, you know, Trump is messing things up, and this got out of hand. You know, because even Obama, he was a great president, and he still had like illness scares.
Yeah,
you know, swine flu was under him, but it was squashed, it was handled or whatever. You know, so it's like
because you don't even notice them because they actually take care of it and are proactive about it in the past, whether Republican or Democrat. You know, and then it seems like this one was just totally botched.
Yeah, but I think the resilience of the human spirit is like, you know, we're gonna get back to normal. People still want to go to shows. We're gonna have shows again. Definitely not anytime in 2020. I
No.
think.
And I honestly don't even
it's
think a lot of 2021.
I
which
think
is scary
by the
too.
summertime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that. I
I'd
think
say
it's a fair bet.
about a year from now.
It'll be a
I
fair
think
bet.
things will be open up again.
Yeah.
I can only hope.
Fingers
man.
crossed.
Yeah, I can
Fingers
only hope.
crossed.
Can only hope. Yeah.
Well, what's scary is that maybe, I've been hearing all those stories about how this is the time Al Qaeda and all those other things are ramping up, because that's when they're seeing how much devastation and different things are happening around the world, and this is when we're most vulnerable.
Yeah.
So maybe there's going to be more attacks and other things that
I
happen.
certainly hope not. You know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hey, bud.
Coda, what's up, buddy?
All we can do is do our part as good citizens and vote for the people who we think have our best interests.
Yeah, for sure.
He does all those crazy tweets in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
so the news cycle the next day will talk about him,
Yeah.
and you can watch TV and say, "Oh, they're
Right.
talking."
Well, here's the thing. I try to be informed responsibly, and then I also try to preach to people that, even my dad, like he'll almost take national news, CNN even, and some stuff as like not Bible, but he like puts more into that than him actually going and trying to find multiple sources and seeing where the facts lay out or find,
To me, it's just
and
like,
they're all pushing their same agendas to a degree. So I don't trust any of that stuff. But my point is that I feel like I try to preach, like, yes, we get that Trump's going to say, so stop focusing on that. And then let's start trying to, organize and get things done by, one, making sure you're going and voting at the local level.
mhm.
So if you don't want police brutality,
Like
put someone in charge.
Research all those other random names.
Right. Like, research the people you're putting into the local office, because those are the ones that have the most to do with, like, police and different things like that. So elect officials. What stinks is people are like, oh, it's just about color or other things. It's Baltimore City, and we've had black mayors and whatever, and they've all stolen
It's
or
like
gotten arrested,
the last
all of
four
them. 4 or 5.
The last
It's
four
just,
Baltimore mayors have all been indicted for a
it's
crime.
so crushing, because I think Baltimore's a great city and Maryland's a great state, because I think it's a mix of a lot of people. I always call Baltimore like a mini New York in the sense of
people of
the
Baltimore are
diversity.
great, the things Baltimore has, but Baltimore leadership is corrupt.
Just horrible.
It's
the
corrupt.
worst.
It's not,
And what's funny is that even though I don't agree with Trump when he's just bashing Baltimore, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong when he's bashing the city leaders.
Yeah,
now,
yeah, we have-
he's clumping Baltimore and people, and it makes it seem like he's talking about us, which he might be. I know it's just for fodder, but, we have a great city. But, yeah, I mean, to be honest, Trump's not wrong when he's talking about really shitty leadership.
We do have a crime problem. We do have a heroin problem, but we also.
But that's
have,
because we don't have the resources we need
also
because we have corrupt.
We also have the ports. So when that stuff is coming in,
Yeah.
Baltimore is kind of like one of the first stops.
Yeah.
Baltimore. I mean, this is just speculation. I don't know
Yeah.
anything. I'm just some sound guy.
I would assume
but
that Baltimore was an easy target to get drugs through,
me-
much
to-
easier than
to
like
me,
New York or
I would think
Miami.
since we have ports, and New York's got to be a big port too. But it's just like
Yeah, but they have more money, so they probably have more patrol. That's what I'm saying. I think Baltimore would be an easy target to get stuff in.
Yeah,
So you're probably
yeah.
not far off.
with the corruption, and
I
it's
wouldn't
like
be
the first stop,
surprised. Yep.
But it's a shame, because like Baltimore is a beautiful city, but there's parts you can drive through, and there's like people leaning and stuff, and it's sad. Like people joke about it, but it's sad.
But I've had people walk up and like, they try and check your doors and get in or rob. I've had some guy literally just like come up and just smash my window out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
I just drove off.
At Ramsey, we had this tour bus parked out back, and some crazy homeless person comes up out of nowhere and throws a giant rock at the windshield of the bus, completely unprovoked, for apparently no reason at all.
He's just crazy. He's just on some drugs.
No,
or
but it
something.
was also January, and it was like
Oh.
10 degrees outside.
That sucks.
And my production manager was like, "Yeah, this stuff kind of happens because like they're homeless and they're crazy and it's really cold out, so sometimes they'll just do something, get arrested, so they have a warm place to sleep.
Yeah.
They'll get
So
put in a
sad.
paddy wagon, they'll crank the heat for them, give them a meal, send them on their way. It was just, and it's sad, because it's like you
It's
gotta.
so sad.
Yeah, it sucks, But Baltimore's got a lot of potential. We got a lot of history. We got a lot of culture here. But
We have Under
our
Armour, and we have
leadership
the
is
Guinness
not.
factory, we have Amazon. We have a lot of big companies that are bringing, factories and big things here. And it's right. I think people come here because it's cheaper. It's actually not that cheap. It's really expensive for
It's pretty-
Baltimore. But I
find it
mean,
kind of
like,
expensive.
compared to like California or New York or
Oh,
somewhere
yeah,
else,
yeah.
it's right by everything DC, and you can go south or you can go north up to Philly and New York
Yeah,
and
Philly.
Boston. So it's a good place for companies to have factories or warehouses because it's right in the middle of everything. You can space out in the Northeast.
Yeah, for people not from the East Coast, if I'm in downtown Baltimore, I can be in front of the White House in like an hour and 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and I could be in Philadelphia in 2 hours. So
Yeah,
it's like
sometimes an
it's
hour and
kind
a
of-
half, I think, even.
Yeah, it's
I
like
can get there in
very
an hour and a half.
very condensed over here. So Baltimore's a good. I love Baltimore. I lived here my whole life. So since COVID happened, I just randomly on a fluke went on Facebook and started looking for jobs, and I had some warehouse experience, and I applied to a couple places, and so I got a job at the Spot OCG Discount Warehouse, Glen Burnie. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's
I love how you shouted out a furniture
Yeah.
company on my
Hey,
podcast.
people need furniture. I've honestly learned a lot from working there. People need furniture. People will come in and buy furniture.
Do they do custom work or no?
No.
I need a
Buy and
podcast
sell.
table or something I can turn into a podcast table. So if you have any good pieces down there
I'll send
and
you
you
some
think you can get
photos.
me like an employee discount.
I'll send you some photos. If you come in, I say this is my homie. He might give you a deal. But it's discount furniture. It's already a deal.
Because before I had ordered a table, but then with everything that happened, I left the couch there because that thing's not that comfortable and it's
It's all right.
it's okay.
We got couches right now.
I just
We could find you a
I just didn't want to spend like, for a nice couch. Some of them are like thousands of dollars, and I
Wait.
was just like, I don't have my podcast
Honestly,
isn't at
what
that
you
level
should
yet.
Honestly, what you should do is just do one long table.
That's what I'm doing.
Like you
Yeah.
have your end set up over there, and then just a
Well-
table all the way across. It can be
Right.
sit up or whatever.
Well, what I would have to do then is either take this and then mount it or mount a smaller screen up here for them to see. Okay, so what I thought, I didn't want to be like everyone else where they did have everyone sitting up. I was like, this is unique in the sense of it's more relaxed. They're chilling on a couch. Coda will pop up once in a while. They can see the screen. I'm here. And you can even fit 2 people on there and then 2 chairs there. Now, the next thing I was going to do was replace that couch and put a table there and get rid of that. And so there's an actual table. You could fit 3 people looking this way and then 2 on the side because you can fit that and then still have a good camera angle. But at that point, I would have like a camera up there mounted, better cameras. I just haven't gotten that far yet. With COVID, I didn't even need to because everything is over Zoom. And then I try not to have like full bands in here or anything. Most like 2 people.
Yeah.
As long as they know they're good and they've gone through all the protocols. Did you hear they're having a shortage on Clorox already? I went out
well,
earlier today
sure.
when I was doing errands. I made my Jeep naked.
Sure. Yeah.
We had a fun
The Jeep
day.
is dope. Yeah.
It almost started to turn into the other day, but so far so good.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah.
What's up, Coda Bear? For everyone out there, I have 2 pit bulls. That one's Coda.
Coda's good boy.
He's my number 1.
You know they're powerful, and you just hope the owner is not abusing them, because like just
Well,
as,
even if
just
you
as much as
abuse
you
them,
can
they're
turn
still they.
like-
Even if I hate when people say it's how you raise them, because even if they were raised bad, that doesn't mean they can't be rehabilitated, and it doesn't mean that they're now vicious dogs. They're not. You just need to make sure that you get them with professionals that can then say, you don't have to be afraid anymore. You know, and then you're fine. This is what, and some of them aren't. There are some that are so traumatized, just like humans. So, but they're the ones that are most abused, which is why they get the worst rap, because then when they attack or do other things, it's because, they weren't properly, again, it wasn't if you just raise them like a normal dog, they're going to be a normal dog. People think, oh, you have to raise them a certain way because they're a pit bull. No, just treat them like a normal dog, like a lab or anything else.
You just gotta love
They're
on them.
fine, yeah. Look at him.
Don't chain them up.
He's
Don't
so
make them
cute.
fight.
Yeah.
Love on them.
No, he's a good boy. He doesn't like coming in here anymore, except for when guests are in here.
It's boring. Like he comes
Because
in.
I'm always working,
Yeah.
so I'm not giving him any attention. So he goes out there and he's just like, yeah, I'm chilling with Fresh.
He's good.
And then we got Fresh when he was about 3.5, and they said Fresh was about 3.5. Man, I'm really dry today. That's why I got this Fiji. And I
Shout
went
out
in
to
there.
Fiji.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I only get Fiji even though it's more expensive because a lot of the water that's bottled has bleach and other chemicals in it.
I heard a rumor that the Dasani water is actually the wash water from the soda tanks at Coca-Cola. So like the huge tanks that they cook they use that Dasani water in the same tanks.
It's
So
crazy.
it's
That's crazy.
weird.
No, and I don't doubt it. And that's what sucks about humans is that like that's why I've been doing these meal preps and I've just been doing my own thing. The nutrition solutions I use is awesome because it's a perfect balance of everything you need. And then it's like 350 calories a thing, and you just eat 3 of them a day, and then fill in between it.
Yeah, the other day
it's great.
that I was here, I was saying that I'd probably benefit from those nutritional meals because
You need to stop coming here because we just eat pizza and tacos
Yeah,
and stuff every time you come.
But I'm notoriously known for not eating a lot of food. So like
You are.
Yeah. So I've never really had a big appetite, although every once in a while I'll go through a wave where I can really put it down. But for the most part, I eat small. My whole life I didn't know I was intermittent fasting, but I was. My whole life I never ate breakfast, and now
I didn't really
for the past
either
couple
for a
years
while.
I usually don't eat at all except coffee
It's not
until
good,
like
dude.
1 or 2
It's
p.m.
not good.
What's that? Not eating all morning? Intermittent fast?
I sometimes have to force myself in the. Well, not really. Honestly, I'm.
It's like 15 hours.
My natural alarm clock wakes me up around 5 or 6 every day, just because I used to go to the gym in the morning because I'd like to beat the crowd. So I'd go at like. I'd try and get up around like 5 and be at the gym by like 5:15, 5:20, and then go till about 6:30 and then bounce because that's when a lot of people started and like stay-at-home moms or people that were like going to work and trying to work out early. And then go to work by like 8 or whatever.
I'm usually up by like 8:30 a.m. every day.
But now that I refuse to go to the gym until I feel like it's safe, or I need to find some sort of like gloves, I will go as far as to wear like those rubber gloves, like dentist gloves and stuff like that. I don't know if it looks stupid, but
push-ups and sit-ups, mate.
Yeah. No, I have plenty of stuff here. Again, I just need to clean it out downstairs and make it into a real gym. The problem is that the ceiling's semi-low, so even for me, being short, it's still, I'm not that short, but I'm not tall or anything. But even me, even though there's still plenty of height, like I might hit a light or I just don't have that. I don't feel comfortable it's swinging barbells down there. Yeah, I need more space. I want to try and find one of those heavy duty tents that they have and set one of those up that are like waterproof and just have an outdoor gym. That'd be the best. It's not because I'm afraid to live. I have no problem going to the gym. It's just that my situation right now.
Such a weird environment.
I can't even risk a slight chance of getting it and then either passing it on to family or passing it on to and honestly sketchy. I don't want to get sick.
It's just sketchy all
even
around.
if I don't and here's the thing, I could be asymptomatic and never know I had it, but the long-term effects you don't know. That thing could just stay in me, and then like when I'm 50 I could just all of a sudden get sick and then die. You never know. You don't know with this shit. So again, it's not that I pick and choose my battles. I certainly, if I want to do something, I'll fucking go do it and be careful doing it. But I think the unnecessary things is like, I'm like, if I can work out at home and the only reason I'm not is because I'm being lazy, then that's on me. You know what I mean? Now,
you can still run down the street. You can still do push-ups and sit-ups in your house.
I have all the weights and all these different things, and I even have the equipment downstairs. But they're really, we have a lot of well, that's what I've been doing a lot. I'll put the yoga on this one on the screen on the ground.
I've been doing yoga a lot for the past like 7 months. I don't do it every day, but probably like 4 or 5 times a week. I try to do at least like 40 minutes.
You should try the pizza ride I have. Have you heard about that?
No.
I saw it. I hate to say that I saw on the Joe Rogan podcast. It really did. But then I did my research in it where it's like a back thing. It kind of mimics getting a deep massager.
It's for your psoas, right?
Yeah, it hurts like hell. Like you got to do it right.
No,
and
I've used them. They're awesome. Yisad from Pepper had one on tour and was like all about it. And he was like, do it. Everyone do it. It's great.
Sometimes it feels like I don't know if I'm actually doing it right on the front or if I'm actually just crushing my organ. Like sometimes I feel like I'm actually like I don't know if I'm actually doing it right or not. And I follow the videos on par, so I assume I am, but sometimes I'm like I'm probably just crushing my kidney right now and not knowing it.
Every time I've done it, it's been like painful, but
it
felt
is
good in a couple minutes,
Yeah, but I haven't gotten that just release of my back, my lower back that they keep saying I should get if I do it right. Dude, I heard something that Asians or Koreans don't smell. We have a gene that makes it, because I really, when I sweat, I have never really smelled. That doesn't mean I haven't smelled bad before in my lifetime, but for the most part, it's like that good sweat smell, not the bad sweat smell.
Now that you mention it.
Have you ever had a smelly Korean minus the fat one?
All of the sweaty Korean guys I've ever been around in my life, I don't think I've ever smelt them. So
That's true.
Myth busted.
So this show is like how humans are all connected and stuff like that. Like good tracking and bad tracking. How, with technology and stuff, it could be used for so many good things and so many bad things. So one of the really cool good things that they were talking about was, let me see if we can get, I guess it was number 1. Oh, surveillance, like surveillance. One of the good things, they were called Veery's birds. And they're these little birds that are up in like Delaware. And I thought it was kind of cool because they're kind of near us. So now I'm like interested to go like find them and like bird watch them. But they always traveled south. So I think scientists assumed that it was like they would go down to Florida or somewhere, Georgia or whatever. And so they finally started tracking them and catching them and tracking them. And they were noticing that they were going down, not in the United States, but they were flying all the way to Brazil. So they're going all the way, which is a crazy flight. Like, what if you got tired?
It's a long,
like, you get tired
flight.
Halfway there, and you're like,
it's not constant flying.
where do they go?
Well, they fly south.
They don't
for a
float.
No, but they fly all the way down there. They go all the way down the East Coast. Probably take the treks over to the islands, and then they hit Brazil or whatever.
But dude, do you know how far it is over the ocean?
It's very far.
So here's
as an individual has driven across the United States of America many times, that is very far distance for sure.
Like, maybe they don't expend energy the same way humans do, so it's
There's
easy
no
for
way.
them.
Yeah.
But like,
they get up high enough and then they just
I would
try
still
to
think it's
drift
a
in the
trek.
wind, I guess,
I would still think it's a trek, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's got to be like 5,000, 6,000 miles.
Oh, yeah, easily.
From Delaware to Brazil.
Like, even if they follow the coast, I'm saying, like, even from the tip of Florida to Brazil, how many thousands of miles is that?
That's probably another 2,000 miles right there.
That's it? I thought it would be more than that.
Again, as just a dude from Baltimore that doesn't know anything about anything.
I was always bad at
assume
geography. We could look it up right now, but I'm not going to.
I always thought I was pretty good at geography.
Yeah.
I think I got a pretty good sense of direction.
Yeah. But so the crazy thing, so they're going to Brazil, and then the even crazier thing is they were trying to notice like the mating season and like why some of them left. Like the individual birds would leave at certain times. And they couldn't figure it out.
Booty calls.
Well, that's what they thought. They thought maybe it had to do with like, they were just done for the season or whatever, and they were going back. But then it turns out but some of them were leaving like a month in advance, like of when they normally do, which is crazy. Like, or even more.
And then would stop early.
Yeah, and they were tracking them. The reason they were like, well, why is this doing it? And then they thought, well, wait, they have to cross the ocean. What time of year is that? Oh, it's hurricane season. So the birds were leaving depending on knowing, like, this is the crazy part. They were leaving based on the weather, yet they were predicting it and leaving it like months ahead of time. So somehow the birds can sense
hurricane season
how bad it's going to be. And to make sure that they backed it up, they went back through the records and saw each hurricane season with when the birds from their data, because they used the little trackers on them, to see when they left and how it compared to the hurricanes of that year. It pretty much matched up perfectly to where you could see when it was heavier hurricane season, they were leaving earlier. And then more of them were leaving.
That's interesting.
And when it was lower, a lot of them were staying if they found mates.
That's
how crazy is that?
Well, there's a simple explanation for that. It's because birds aren't real. They're all
they're not real.
They're government surveillance tools.
Oh my
they're used to spy on you. I
thought I was crazy.
No, that's birds aren't real.
I don't doubt there aren't a ton of birds there that are fake.
I mean, come on, we're talking about the U.S. government. You don't think they got a couple fake bird cameras? At least maybe not all birds aren't real, but like, come on.
They definitely have all bird cameras. I don't doubt that. So that's a type of good surveillance. Yeah. And that was pretty cool learning. So, but imagine if we could take that
surveillance for science.
Right. Imagine if we could take that, whatever it is that they have, and then translated that into technology, because we can't even predict weather days before. Like sometimes hurricanes can come up last second. But these birds somehow know. So if we could find a way or capture these birds or look at them and say how they're acting, now we can
As a
actually, they're
precursor.
using that in the sense of predicting it's going to be
hurricanes.
bad. But now if we could actually, like, if there was some magical way
Is
to
it to
take
this-
their gene or
is-
sense and like and
guess-
put it into humans, you know, to where we could sense it, like we could feel it was going to be, or even if it was a day before, you could feel it, or even if it was last second, you could feel it coming on, you know, because and I think it has to do with the energy and the atoms and stuff in the, you know, as they get denser and the
Definitely.
thing builds up,
it's
that's
just
how
like
they
you can
sense
kind-
it.
At least some people, and I definitely have been like, there's a storm coming. I can just feel a storm coming. Like the wind, the air is doing something different.
Yeah.
You get the dark clouds. It's possible. I would think birds might be more in depth to that because they spend so much time in the sky and they can probably see farther and just naturally like know weather because they are in it almost, you know. And
They're
who
in
knows?
it.
Yeah, you know, and like I don't know how high birds fly. I don't know. They're pretty small.
I would
They
assume
get
they
up
could
there.
fly to a certain degree if they wanted to, but I would assume they stay as low to the ground
Yeah.
as safe
They
as
probably-
necessary.
I wonder if like they
They're
weigh
not flying airplane height.
they weigh like so light if they go too high they don't even
Just
are-
pass out.
no they aren't even affected by like Earth's gravity. They can't come back down. They like escape it. You know
They're
what I
not
mean?
that light. You got to go pretty high up in the Earth's atmosphere.
You don't know how high birds can fly.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can. They're gonna pass out because there's no oxygen
Yeah,
at some point.
That's true.
You can only make it. Superman can only make it so far up in the sky, right? Maybe not. Maybe he's
He
an
is a
exception.
fictional person.
Well, so are birds. They're all robots controlled
Oh,
by the
right.
government.
I forgot.
That was your theory.
Yeah,
And then obviously the bad part of surveillance is, you know, someone's probably like, if someone wanted to, they could just watch me right now.
Yeah, especially with the cameras when it's like, you know,
They're all
Basic-
connected.
basic-
They could
yeah.
use and access that
basic
GoPro.
human right to privacy. You know?
And the scary thing is that happens all the time. They actually are invading our rights.
yeah. Or at
Now
least
they can't use
they
it in
have-
court because by law it's illegal.
But
But
they-
that doesn't mean they're
they
not
have-
doing it.
Yeah, they have access to it. It's on.
Doesn't
it's
mean
on
it's not
one of their
doing
hard
it.
drives somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not. You know, it's not right. There should
Fuck
be.
you. No, I'm just kidding. Now they're gonna hack my shit.
I was in elementary school that we had like an activity period where the school would hire like some educational presenter to come out, and one time it was like a space thing, and they showed us kind of like inside what the shuttles look like. They set up a thing in our gym, and it was kind of, I don't know, so long ago, but my memory is like it was like a blow up thing, but it was supposed to be a replica of what it looked like inside the space shuttle and stuff. And I remember being fascinated as a kid, for sure.
So I never liked history and stuff like that when I was growing up. I always loved sciences and
I
engineering.
love history and science.
Like did I tell you that story the last time?
Mm-mm.
Well, since it's a new recording anyway. Since it's take 3.
Take 3.
We're like one of those bad B movies that keeps getting like remake or like there's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was younger, and the reason I started at UMBC and I wanted to do engineering before I got into business and got my business degree.
Like audio engineering at UMBC?
No,
Or-
mechanical engineering is
Oh.
was what I went for. And it's because when I was younger, I loved building things. Like I would take apart my tape players. I forgot kids are gonna like. That's when you feel old and you're like the device you used growing up is no longer relevant.
Yeah.
So like I used tapes when I was super young. So it's not like I wasn't in more of a technology. But I grew up on CDs. CDs were my thing. So I was like right after tapes. I mean, I think I had Green Day Dookie and like Live Throwing Copper on tape when I was super young. Like just because that was like the 90s
I think
music
I'm a
that was
little
popular at the time.
I think I'm a little too young for remembering a lot of tape. I remember tape cassettes being in cars. But
Well, even in high school, I think I gave a girl a mixtape,
yeah,
a legit mixtape.
growing up,
Yeah.
we
I
always
was like,
had
here's
like
my
a
mixtape.
dope old school rack stereo with like
Yeah.
speakers in the house and stuff. So like, and it was always growing up. It was always CDs.
I don't know how he looks in the camera, but he looks so sad. Like I beat him. He looks like, please, sir, may I have some more? That's what he looks like.
He's a good boy. Look at that. Ooh.
He is a good boy. I will be very sad. My mom was like, he's gonna die soon. I'm like,
She-
what? I
Mom.
was like, thanks.
Please.
Jeez. Like that couch is kind of one of those things where I was like, I need to get a couch, but I really don't want to spend thousands of dollars right now because it's not a big podcast, and especially with everything going on.
I don't recommend anybody out there spend more than $1,000 on a couch.
Well, no, but dude, some of these are expensive now. Even the ones that actually will be comfortable and look nice.
I'm working at a furniture warehouse now, so we have a piece in there. It's $2,000.
Send me
for
pictures,
a dresser.
bro.
$2,000 for a dresser.
Oh no, fuck.
We're selling it for $1,600.
I also
but
feel
it's $2,000.
$1,600.
$1,600 out. Come on.
Come on down.
Come on down.
I didn't like history and stuff like that when I was a kid because I knew it was bullshit what we were learning too, and it was a lot of memorization and dates, and to me that doesn't show someone's like how smart they are. It just shows how good they are at memorizing. Yeah. But now I love history, love researching, but like real history, not Columbus bullshit history, not the white man's history.
Yeah, there's
I like looking up pyramids and civilizations because I think it's pretty, at least to me, I think it's fact that there were much advanced in different ways civilizations than us in past times before the modern human.
I think we should go back to kingdom states.
Like they might not have had computers, but they had a global, powering system. Like the one theory is that when it showed, we thought there was a couple pyramids, but there's hundreds of them, and they're all interconnected globally. They're showing how they were energy sources and ways to communicate or even travel globally through the pyramids. So they might have already had that stuff.
Though?
Well, who knows?
Show me. I want this. I want these knowledge. Because that would be crazy. So you're saying they used the pyramids to travel to different parts of the planet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. There's different theories. Some of it, definitely an energy source. That's one I think is kind of realistic. Like it captured the sunlight, which turned whatever physics that worked at the time. Now remember, there were different resources, different probably balances and magnetism and stuff, because you got to think that when everything's like shifts on the world, the magnetic balance changes. So over thousands of years, I'm sure there was different back then.
Imagine that. That would be some crazy shit if there was a time traveler and he's like, I want to go back to see how they did the pyramids. And apparently ancient Egyptians had just giant magnets. They could pick up fucking 500-ton boulders and just move them around, put them wherever they want, and they made perfect pyramids. If they used magnets, that would be crazy.
There's a power grid.
So that would be crazy if there were crafts. That was the energy source they used to move shit around.
So that's how they're saying, that's how they could build the pyramids and build all that stuff with those energy sources. Because you think energy is just moving atoms, right? And ions or whatever. So they probably had that perfect
sort of gravity manipulation, I would think.
Yeah, whatever was the perfect amount of wave to create gravity is what they figured out, or is what they used. And again, I think that had to do with, we even see now how the Earth's magnetism is shifting and changing. It's not always the same. And a lot of that has to do with the environment and stuff too. Yeah. So I don't know what that was really, but yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy, dude. Magnets. Why aren't we talking about magnets?
Apparent shock how energy source from Giza focus pockets of energy. I don't doubt that, because you got to think a lot of the stuff you're only seeing like the underneath of the outside of the pyramid, like the wood of a house. You're only seeing what's the bones of it. You're not seeing what was actually built on top of it. And a lot of that, like the pyramids were known to be like gold on the outside or whatever, or at least certain things.
Apparently over time people chipped away at it and shit.
Yeah. And I'm sure people back in the day probably stole it for money and melted it down, different things.
Humans known for destroying monuments.
I know.
All through history, humans have destroyed monuments.
Another cool one, the dust one that I was from that show that we were watching before, they went into the middle of the Sahara Desert and literally nothing from tens of thousands of miles, whatever, maybe not that much, whatever the thing is. And they go to this one part because they've been finding fish fossils. And then they've been finding rhinos and hippopotamuses and stuff like that, which shows that at some time the Sahara Desert was actually
had some water.
Yeah, had water, had plants, had vegetation and animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what, the Earth just goes through different shifts and cycles. It's just thousands of years where it gets to the point where it pretty much wipes out most of whatever was there, So you got to think that maybe ours is coming up soon, huh?
It's possible.
Especially with how poorly we treated the Earth. It's like, let's just get these guys off and we'll start over again. In a really strange way, I wouldn't doubt that the Earth kind of has, you got to think that's nature. It's got to have some mechanisms naturally that if we're destroying the Earth and it's making it sick and worse, you got to think the planet is going to eventually do something or shift its polar and the weather.
It's reacting
to
us being here.
It's almost like a living thing. It's a star.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the planet is crazy. We should definitely try to take care of it, especially when it's like something. If there's like a easier, cheaper solution to something, that's what it should be.
I'm guilty. I mean, I have a lot of materialistic things here, but I don't really have an option as far as like.
You know what they did in medieval times? Everybody had their own cup. This is your cup, dude. You strap that shit to your belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You walk into the pub, you give them your cup.
Yeah.
And you say, fill that shit with beer, you drink it, and then you leave. And that's your cup.
Yeah.
And we could save on plastic cups.
I would love to do that.
We just come on, culture.
There would have to be a rule, though.
Reusable cups.
12 ounce only or 16 ounce only or whatever, like different prices because people would try and get away and just bring a big ass mug and like fill her up.
Well, that's up to the person who's selling it to negotiate the price, man.
Oh, that's true.
But the idea
you want to go back to the bartering days.
The idea is saving the earth. I'm not wasting a cup. We're not making more glass. We're not,
Do you remember that show where the two guys would start with something cheap or like a paperclip or something, and then they would build their way up?
Yeah.
Now, I know it was overly.
I traded up to a house. Like what?
I know it was overly produced and stuff like that, but like in theory they could do that, and I wouldn't doubt that they did, but they probably had help with research and finding buyers and stuff like that.
I can write words down on a piece of paper and know 10 people that would play along in a video with me.
That's
and
true.
I could tell the world anything.
Yeah. Should we start doing that? Is that what we should start doing?
Check the B-sides. Yeah.
Check the B-sides. Yeah, someone wrote a nasty comment on one of them. I was just like, do you not understand what a B-side is?
Just be nice people.
Yeah, again, that doesn't really faze me, but it's still annoying to a degree.
Why waste the energy of moving your thumbs to be an asshole on the internet to someone you don't know? That's what I don't get.
Well, it's when they know you and they do it just to spite you.
Well, then you're fucked up. You need to work on yourself.
Yeah. It's just weird to me.
I love the internet.
It's just super weird.
I like the internet. I think it's a great tool. I think
because then they feel good about themselves. I'm like,
yeah,
you achieved nothing in life.
Yeah, and exactly.
That did nothing.
And it's like
it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, you're feeling good off of a feeling, and that's it. And then those feelings, you're like almost controlled, or
I think if you're doing something right,
you become addicted to those feelings.
You're gonna have people that are gonna say negative things because they don't like that you're doing it right.
To me, it's just like at the end of the day, it's like, why are you gonna argue with a stranger? I know it feels good to sit there, debate, feel like you own somebody, but at the end of the day, like, you didn't advance in life. You didn't learn anything new other than propping up your own reinforced ideas.
Coda, stop licking him, dude. Leave him alone.
You're not...
Dude's like giving you a shower for no reason.
You're not advancing at all, arguing with some stranger.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
There's more that connects people than that like separates people, and the internet totally is the flip side of that,
Yeah, again, if you use the internet for what it's supposed to be used for and like use
you want to learn some knowledge,
the benefits, to increase, but we just dumb ourselves down with social media, Yeah. Again, it sucks because you do have to play the game. I play the game to a degree. Not really, that's the thing. That's why I really don't have
it's a good tool, but a lot of like all the people that I would want to get in contact with, I'm able to get in contact with because of like my phone, or if I ever got your number down.
Right.
The internet's just a tool, and it's new. It's so new compared to the other technologies that we have that we're still learning about.
Like 2007 was like the start of Facebook, right? Which is great. The end of college.
Yeah.
I had a Facebook for a while, even before that, because I was in college. It was at first just at the one Harvard or wherever, and then once it went everywhere, I remember having one. I didn't really use it that much, and it was more like a dating app at the time, or a dating thing, like way to meet people. Like a college meet up, and then it went totally crazy, and I got off of it for a while.
I think Facebook's a good tool, but I think Facebook manipulates people.
Oh, it certainly does. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg.
I think the constant bombardment of
He's a douchebag.
advertisements.
He stole that shit anyway.
Yeah, the advertisements
You don't care.
is too much. It's freaky too much. Everybody gets the feeling of like, oh my god, I talked about this the other day, and now I'm seeing ads.
Oh yeah.
That's too much.
Well, goes back to surveillance, dude.
And they're like surveilling our activity, our interests. They know what we like, and they try to market to us, and that's not right. And we're not getting reimbursed for our information, which is our interest and what.
If we click and actually go, we should get a discount.
Like, it's Facebook is selling advertising, and we are the product, basically.
I refuse to pay for Facebook advertising or anything like that.
Well, I mean,
I always see people
it's a tool,
sponsored.
But it's a tool.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's a tool to get shit out there.
But to really get it out there, you got to spend thousands of dollars, and then if you're big, tens of thousands of dollars to really get in front of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then
to get the return you're gonna pay for.
Yeah, but
you can't just do even $100 a week isn't gonna do you shit on those.
No, but do you think like fucking Justin Bieber is spending when he's got a new single he wants to push? If he's spending millions of dollars on marketing, and that's why he's Justin Bieber, and he's talented.
He's super talented, but a total douchebag.
Well, and like I have one of those. I think every pop artist out there right now is there because they're talented as well. I think.
Some aren't necessarily. Sometimes you have like a certain mix of everything, like your hard work.
But a lot of it is like personal preference too. It's like I think everyone that's in the spotlight, hardcore right now, is talented. Cardi B,
for sure.
Cardi B. People like to.
I just don't listen to that type of music. I just don't listen to the radio or anything.
She's a good example of someone that is such a character, but and is always in the news, and she's a great rapper too. When you listen to her music, it's like, okay, she's great. She's good for listening and partying and pushing what she wants to push and being herself. And like you can't be an artist in that level and like not have talent,
I agree with that for sure. But I also think you could be like Blink-182 and minus Travis, have no talent, but still make it big because you have a good, shtick.
Okay.
I love Blink, but I'm just saying.
Tom DeLonge and Mark Hoppus are also very talented.
No, they are. I won't like it.
That's why they're Blink-182.
But I mean, if you hear them live, they're not that great.
I saw them with the Lil Wayne tour. It was pretty cool. Except there was a big storm that was coming in. Everyone was in the amphitheater thinking they were going to cancel, and then they didn't cancel. It stormed super hard. They stopped for a little bit. Lil Wayne started his set like an hour and 15 minutes late. He played for an hour, and then
you got an hour.
Yeah, he got an hour, and then because everything was delayed so much, Blink-182 only played for like half an hour.
Wow.
And they didn't even get to use their full stage production because like Lil Wayne, like I can tell you. I don't want to speculate or whatever, but I can tell you exactly what went wrong with that tour is first of all that day that I saw them there was the storms that also complicated things, but I think Lil Wayne and his production crew are used to calling the shots, and on that tour they were the opener, and of course Lil Wayne doesn't want to play to a crowd that hasn't filled out yet, so like I get it, but
sounds kind of diva-ish. He knew what he was signing up for.
Well, obviously he didn't. That's why he walked off one night, because he's expecting. He's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna tour with punk band, and there's gonna be and he would play the opening slot.
Well, you would assume there. I mean, when you're on that pro of a tour, it's got to be in the contract who's opening and not.
Yeah.
So I don't think that again. That just sounds diva-ish to me because when they signed the contract,
totally.
It had to have been in there. It had to have said that Blink was headlining.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just out of respect,
absolutely.
a respect thing.
At least the show I went to, it was Blink-182's show. They were obviously the headline. I just think again, and again, it could go to personal issues or other things he had going on. A lot. Sure.
I tend to see a lot of the times that the artists aren't themselves or they're acting a certain way. It's because they have personal stuff going on, and
that's possible.
The road definitely like
it was a different environment.
amplifies that. I could see him being upset. I get
Wayne's
his
career.
point. I understand why he was upset. I don't doubt that. I get it. But it was just like, bro, come on. You've been doing this long enough to know the deal.
Yeah,
You know?
you would think.
Again, just play the tour, take the money, and get the
But
fuck out.
Lil Wayne, even though he's
Get
not a
the
great
fuck
guitar
out.
player, he's still very talented, good at what he does.
Well, I love Lil Wayne when he was like more real and like not so fucked up. I feel like he did so many drugs and does so much stuff. He just like doesn't know what he's doing.
He hasn't put. Has he put out music recently?
Yeah, he's like the king of mumble rap. He like started that whole thing again after when he used to be like the gangster rap.
Yeah. I don't
When
know.
he was like Snoop and he was on
I haven't heard any of his new stuff.
Wayne wasn't Wayne on who was that one billionaire, like the first black billionaire from he had the New
Jay-Z?
Orleans before Jay-Z, Master P. Master P was like the original billionaire or multi-millionaire or something like that. Like I'm pretty sure even before Jay-Z
Off of
and them.
hip-hop,
Yeah, off of hip hop. He made so much money back in the day. But that was when they were selling CDs and stuff and mixtapes. So like people were making a ton of money, way more than they're making now.
Because the only thing you could buy was a CD.
Right.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to bring it back where you can only. I mean, Spotify and them could easily. Well, I guess not Spotify because it's streaming. But if bands wanted to and someone wanted to do something where
They would have
you
to.
you could only. Well, that's what Tidal is. Tidal kind of is that. Trying to get artists to sign. If you sign up with Tidal, you can't sign up anywhere else. People can only get your music on Tidal, but they also pay for it, and it goes straight to the artist. And some big artists are on there, dude.
I think the precedent. No, I get that, but I think the precedent for basically free music is already set.
Oh, I agree.
You
I
know?
agree. And even if they did that, there's going to be people that find a way because once you buy it, it's out there. People can just pass it along. But there's got to be a way. I guess my point is there's got to be a way to streamline and make it easier for artists to collect what they are rightfully owed.
If you are an artist
You know,
and you have music,
That's what I'm working on.
and you have music on Spotify, buy Spotify stock. If you have enough shares,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can vote.
Yeah.
You can vote for
Yep.
literally what the company
Yep.
wants to do.
Yep.
You know, so like that's my thought.
Yeah.
You know, you can literally buy part of the company.
But I also, again, I think a lot of it has to do with being smart with your money, too. You can do a lot with a little, I feel like, these days if you are smart about it and you take the time to do it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually going down to that studio and hang out. Me and
The one you were talking about?
yeah,
What's it
Manta Ray.
called? Manta Ray, yeah.
Yeah, it's on North Avenue. Me and my homie audio video. We make beats and shit. We hang out
Nice.
and yeah. So I was gonna go about him. Audio video. He goes by AV. He's a big time Baltimore hip hop producer. He does his own beats and he records. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, hit it.
Well, I've used it
yeah.
3 times in one episode.
That's awesome. But yeah, he's my
That's
boy.
silly.
We've been friends for almost a decade, and he's like probably the best producer in Baltimore you can get for hit it. Yeah, for all your hip hop needs. Yeah. Bruh.
You might as well just use the whole.
Yeah, show
what I was starting
show
with.
everybody your new toys.
The best one is this one. Game over. That's got to be the outro. The outro sound. But
Because everyone will listen to your podcast, and then they'll be like, "Wait, that was a game."
Well, since you have nothing to promote and you have nothing else
No,
to contribute to this,
No,
we'll end this here. It was
Yeah.
fun.
follow me on Instagram, Robin Thicke.
The best,
THROBIN.
Do you wanna explain that?
Oh yeah, I can explain that.
because it
So-
sounds like you're talking about a penis.
No, I'm
Robin
not. It's not.
Thick, even though it's not even close.
No, it's not. So when I started touring, I got a nickname from Ballyhoo where my name's Robert, and there's a lot of famous people with the name Robert or Robert in their name, and I think Donald was the one who
Good old
who
Donald.
came up with calling me a celebrity's name but putting the TH in front of Robert. So it was, and it was just funny. So they would be like Julia Throberts or Throbert Downey Jr. or who else we got? Who else has Robert names? But anyway, yeah. So that became like the nickname or whatever. And when I made an Instagram, that's what it was. And it was funny for 10 minutes, and I never changed it. And I've had it as that for so long that that's just what it is.
And yet, minus a couple of them. There's like no posts for like 3 years.
Yeah, I'm not super active on it, so it's
Follow
it's
me,
there.
but I might not post for another
No.
3 years.
Yeah, I don't post too often, but I'm on it. It's a great way to get in contact with me. But yeah. Actually, the very first nickname I ever got was Bobby Earl. That was my sister.
Bobby, what?
Bobby Earl. Earl's my middle name, which is ironically also the name of the Ballyhoo face.
Oh yeah, love that.
Yeah.
I got a few of those stickers. All right, man. Well, safe drives, good hangs
Yes,
tonight.
Thank you.